Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellencies, to the 2019 Nansen Refugee Award ceremony. This evening is hosted jointly by the Swiss Federal Council, the State Council of the Republic and Canton of Geneva, the Administrative Council of the City of Geneva, the Government of Norway, the IKEA Foundation, the Chairperson of UNHCR's Executive Committee, and the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. We are honored to have such a distinguished audience here tonight.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to this prestigious evening. I cannot believe it's happening. This is absolutely a moment to remember for every single one of us in this room. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2019 Nansen Refugee Awards. My name is Leanne Manus, and I am from South Africa. Such a pleasure and honor to be standing on this stage. I am going to be your host tonight. I am going to take you on a journey. In fact, I'm going to guide you through this journey. A journey where we're going to find out what it's like to belong in this world. Something, unfortunately, that many people do not know how that feels as yet. As we mark the 65th anniversary of this prestigious award, we want to pay a very special tribute to the man who these awards are named after, Fridtjof Nansen, whose work with refugees and stateless people won him the Nobel Peace Prize in 1922.
Scenes of exile, loss, and rebirth painted by one of France's most celebrated modernist artists, Marc Chagall. In this painting, The Song of Songs, the artist reflects back on his own tumultuous life. Born in Russia in 1887 to Jewish parents, Chagall was pushed out of the country when he no longer agreed with the ideals of the Russian Revolution. In 1923, he traveled to France, a country he'd known as a student. But he was now stateless, deprived of his Russian citizenship. Chagall was granted the Nansen passport, a document that allowed him to continue his life as an artist in France.
I think Chagall is typically someone who found the means to build a life, although he was an exile and he had to start over a few times in his life. His biblical representations are metaphors of what was going on during the 20th century, where so many people were driven to leave their country and to find exile in other countries.
During the Second World War, Chagall was stripped of his nationality a second time and was smuggled to the US. He returned to France when the war ended. And to celebrate his special bond with the country, he donated this collection to the French government. Chagall was just one of the thousands of stateless people and refugees whose lives were transformed by the Nansen passport, named after Norwegian Nobel Prize winner Fridtjof Nansen. Nansen first made his name as an explorer and zoologist before becoming an international statesman. In 1920, in the wake of the First World War, he was appointed as High Commissioner for Refugees for the League of Nations. Nansen's first task was to oversee the return of hundreds of thousands of prisoners of war. In 1922, after a year campaigning, he succeeded in creating the passport that would come to carry his name.
Fridtjof Nansen's legacy today is first and foremost, I think, in the refugee area. I mean, the Nansen passport was really the cornerstone of the modern international refugee law. The UNHCR is the grandchild, so to speak, of Nansen's High Commissioner's office.
By 1943, the Nansen passport was recognized by up to 52 governments and helped many stateless persons from Russia and Armenia, as well as Assyrian and Turkish refugees. This unique passport offered more than 450,000 people a chance at a new life. Teresa was one of them. Born in 1911 to Russian-speaking Jewish parents, she was a refugee twice in her lifetime. First following the Russian Revolution, and decades later after fleeing Nazi Germany.
My grandmother used to tell me a lot of stories when I was a child about her experiences as a refugee, and one of the things she would talk about very often was that Nansen passport that she'd had in her youth. She spoke of it as almost a kind of miraculous document. She'd also often talk about even the colour of the document. The fact that it was a white piece of paper seemed to be quite symbolic to her, like, you know, a blank sheet or a new slate, something that was there to enable her to start a new life.
Teresa eventually found safety in London and lived until the age of 94. Though no longer in use, the Nansen passport was a groundbreaking concept that changed the lives not only of its recipients, but also of the generations that followed. Nansen, too, continues to inspire, an example of what a single person with a vision and unwavering commitment can achieve to help refugees and to fight statelessness in his time and ours.
What an incredible man, what an incredible story. While Nansen's visionary work took place almost a century ago, humanitarian challenges he faced then are still being faced today. In fact, they could be even getting worse. Statelessness hasn't been resolved. Unfortunately, there are conflicts that are forcing record numbers of people and families to flee from their homes. As you saw in this wonderful video, in Chagall's masterpieces, he often depicted his story of flight and statelessness. And tonight, two talented artists are with us to share their journey, but this time with words. Their journey is about belonging and also trying to find safety. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on stage our first performers for the evening, Babak Qasim and Usama Elias.
Hinter uns mein Land. Alles, was ich bin, wurde dort geboren.
Alles, was mir Heimat war. Der Bolzplatz, wo wir als Kinder spielten. Das Lächeln meiner ersten Liebe. Der Apfelbaum bei uns im Park und der kleine See hinterm Berg versteckt.
Der heiße Tee auf dem Blechtablett, faltige Geschichten erzähle. Lachfalten zieren ihre Gesichter. Quatsch machen auf dem Rückweg von der Schule nach Haus.
Und nachts warten, bis die Eltern schlafen und dann wieder raus. Das quietschende Fahrrad meines Bruders, die Gedichte Nerudas und der Geruch von nassem Rasen.
Radios, die gequälte Töne trotzdem wie Melodien raustragen.
Das Singen meiner Schwester am Morgen.
Meine Mutter.
Meine Mutter mit ihren ständigen Geldsorgen. Und ich weiß nicht warum, Marienkäfer.
All das war mir Heimat.
All das war mir einst Heimat.
Aber ich konnte nicht mehr bleiben. Hinter uns der Krieg, das frische Grab meiner Eltern. Der letzte Erdkrumen rollt noch ab, hat seinen frischen Platz noch nicht gefunden. So frisch ist meine Trauer und nix ist verarbeitet.
Ich konnte nicht mehr bleiben. Man sprach von uns als den Todgeweihten. Unsere Leute in Züge gezwungen, die im Rauch der Loks dahingleiten. Unsere Türen zertrümmert, Schaufenster in Scherben. Eltern verängstigt, Geschwister geschunden und grausame Nachrichten von Freunden. Denen, die noch da waren, die meisten waren verschwunden.
Man konnte nicht mehr bleiben, keinen weiteren Tag mehr. Der nächste Schritt in meiner Stadt war der letzte Schritt in meinem Land und der schlimmste Schritt dann auf dieses rostige Boot, was wanken wird zunächst, uns halten wird zunächst und dann wird es sinken uns dem Meer übergeben. Im Meer so trostlos, der Mond versteckt sich hinter den Wolken. Die Nacht so dunkel, du siehst nichts.
Stundenlang nichts. Und wenn ich im Augen die Dunkel schließe, höre ich meine Mutters Stimme. Um uns her ist nur das Meer, als wäre unser Boot das Herz aller Dinge. Ich öffne die Augen und flüster Richtung Himmel, denn Gebete sind unsere Segel.
Rettungswesten werden den Rest übernehmen, nur die Hoffnung können sie nicht tragen. Ein Mann schwimmt auf mich zu, hier nimm du, ich schaff es nicht mehr. 1 Jahr ist er alt und Basim sein Name. Der Vater gleitet aus der Weste ins ewig dunkelblaue. So wurde ich das erste Mal Vater, im Meer also, per Übergabe also. Der Mann in der Weste gab mir sein Erbgut als Erbe.
Im Exil angekommen habe ich schnell gelernt, die wichtigsten Wörter sind Aufenthaltsgenehmigung, Entschuldigung und Danke.
Im Exil angekommen sah ich eine Familie nach langer Zeit vereint, wie der Vater vor Glück wimmert, still und aus tiefstem Innern, mit all der Scham eines Menschen, der selten weint. Ich folgte der Familie Schritt für Schritt, aber nur mit meinem Blick.
Im Exil angekommen, aber die Heimatserde nimmt man an den Fußsohlen mit. Denn ich bin von dort und ich habe Erinnerungen. Ich bin geboren, wie die Menschen geboren werden. Ich habe eine Mutter, die mich liebt und es bricht mir das Herz. In den Briefen, die sie schrieb, sehe ich, wie ihre Hand inzwischen zittert. Wenn ich nun Heimweh sage, sage ich Traum. Denn die alte Heimat gibt es kaum. Und bleiben wir hier, werden wir wie der Strand. Nicht ganz Meer, nicht ganz Land.
Und bleiben wir hier, werden wir wie der Strand. Nicht ganz Meer, nicht ganz Land. Im Exil angekommen heißt mich ein Herr willkommen. Das andere Herr hisst mir fremde Fahnen. Manchmal spürt man die Liebe, manchmal spürt man den Hass. Dir schauen sie aufs Kopftuch, mir in den Pass. Aber sei ihnen nicht böse, Habibi, vergib ihnen. Sie vergaßen die Liebe, sie vergaßen die Bibel. Wünsch ihnen den Frieden. Im Gegenteil, zeig's ihnen. Wir sind Stehaufmenschen. Reiß uns die Beine weg und wir gehen auf Händen.
Reiß uns die Beine weg und wir gehen auf Händen. Machen das Beste aus unserem Leben, bis unsere Leben enden. Und wer weiß, vielleicht kehre ich eines Tages heim und es wird nicht alles verwandelt sein. Vielleicht sehe ich unseren alten Apfelbaum oder den Bolzplatz hinter rostbraunem Zaun und ich umarme meine Geschwister und ich küsse meine Mutter und das Glück beißt seinen kleinen Zahn in mein Herz.
Mein Name ist Ahmed Yusuf, Vater von Basim und ich bin Flüchtling. Ich bin aus Syrien geflohen.
Mein Name ist Daniel Levi und ich bin Flüchtling. Ich bin aus Deutschland geflohen.
Das Jahr ist 2015.
Das Jahr ist 1938.
What a powerful performance. Thank you very, very much to Babak and Osama. It's been said that no parent will put their child in a boat unless the sea is safer than the land. And that is something I think that is so true with what they have said. So thank you for them for sharing that experience with us. Over 65 years, the Nansen Refugee Award has recognized exceptional individuals and groups who really have gone beyond the call of duty to help refugees or stateless people, in fact, sometimes risking their lives in the process. Their journey is one of dedication and certainly a love for humanity, values that Nansen himself actually lived by. The Nansen Refugee Award is much more than just this ceremony tonight. With thanks to the Swiss and Norwegian governments, each laureate receives a monetary prize, and this is to expand their work, and therefore creating sustainable grassroots projects. And at the end of the day, this really does ensure that the Nansen Refugee Awards continue and endure for these years that it has. Now, since the first winner, can you believe, Eleanor Roosevelt, 65 years ago, each laureate has made an incredible difference. I told you at the beginning I'm going to take you on a journey. Well, join me on this journey back to 2013, and let's meet our laureate from that year, an unbelievable lady. Her name, Sister Angelique Namaike, who has worked miracles in the community of Dungu, which is in the Northeast Democratic Republic of Congo, an area that was terrorized by the Lord's Resistance Army.
Je suis sœur Angélique Namaike Nako, religieuse du diocèse de Dungu-Doruma. Mais à ma grande surprise ici, les gens ne m'appellent pas sœur. Ils m'appellent toujours maman. Mon souci est énorme pour les femmes. Parce qu'on dit éduquer une femme, c'est éduquer toute une nation. Il y avait eu le déplacement massif à cause de la guerre, de l'atrocité de la LRA qui était dans notre zone. Les femmes avaient perdu leurs enfants, d'autres leurs maris. Les jeunes filles qui étaient kidnappées aussi, elles sont rentrées des fois avec les enfants dans leurs bras. J'ai commencé à aller vers ces femmes, à les écouter. Et le peu que j'avais, j'ai commencé à partager avec elles. J'avais trouvé que le prix, comme j'avais dit à Genève, ce n'est pas pour moi, c'est pour les femmes et les enfants. Et on a commencé à réaliser les activités de la boulangerie. Tout le monde à Dungu a mangé le pain presque, et les femmes, les premières bénéficiaires. Elles ont gagné leur vie à cause de ces pains.
Merci.
C'est notre stratégie d'aider la femme à sortir de ce traumatisme pour vivre comme tous les autres. Elle travaille, elle met son attention dedans. Elle oublie d'autres difficultés. Dernièrement, j'ai eu un témoignage. Elle me disait, j'ai 9 enfants, je suis veuve. J'étais malade, je ne savais pas si j'allais guérir. J'ai dit oui, maman. Tu passes le soir, je pars te chercher le sou.
Ona mibale ngai pena famille na ngai baleki na ngai bamemaki bango na zamba yango nde ndikaki tolongola kuna kokoma de ona leki na ngai kaka mama sere ndasungi azina ni mpona université sika mpona ngai tolokola nasukaki na 3e.
Aujourd'hui, nous continuons avec les femmes déplacées, les filles victimes, les filles mères et les vulnérables de la communauté. Les activités ne font que s'élargir. Et à partir de ces prix-là, de ces témoignages, des travaux qu'ils nous ont vite faire, on a reçu beaucoup de donateurs qui nous ont permis de faire des choses que vous voyez aujourd'hui ici. Après la boulangerie, il y a eu la pédiatrie. On a déjà soigné dans cette pédiatrie-là plus de 14 000 enfants depuis l'ouverture le 25 octobre 2014. On aide les femmes à travers leurs enfants et on aide aussi les femmes à travers la femme. Nous avons aidé plus de 20 000 femmes et ça nous donne la force pour continuer ce travail-là. Et après, ce prix-là, Nansen, ça donne encore une autre affaire qui est l'école primaire. Nous nous sommes rendus aujourd'hui à 1500 élèves. En maternelle, 34, école primaire 1226 et secondaire 239. L'orphelinat s'est créé de soi-même. Ça, c'est l'œuvre aussi de Prix Nansen. Nous avons un grand bâtiment qui héberge plus de 57 enfants à l'orphelinat. Je peux dire aujourd'hui, je ne pleure plus. Je ne laisse plus couler de larmes. Si larmes coulent, c'est la joie.
What an absolutely incredible woman she is, Sister Angelique. She has actually been honored more after the Nansen Awards. She has received 3 different humanitarian awards, and she is an inspiration to every single one of us. Please give her another round of applause. Inspiring action and awareness takes many forms, as you're going to see on the stage tonight. Our next artist aims to take us on a journey of acceptance and diversity. You're going to absolutely love this. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on stage Flesh Love with her song, Sisters.
We are like a cake. We are so many different ingredients, and there will always be forces within our lives pressuring us to pluck one particular piece out of that cake and say, hey, see that jewel? That's me. Don't do it. It is dangerous. Sometimes it appears easier, but it is dangerous.
No matter how many times you will doubt, we'll be there for you. No matter how many times you will fall, we'll be there for you. We are sisters. We are sisters. We are sisters. We are sisters. Whenever you will shine and succeed, we'll be there too. When we all stand together, through the smoke shivers. We are sisters. We are sisters. We are sisters. We are sisters. Without community, there is no liberation. But community must not mean a shedding of our differences. No, the pathetic pretense that these differences do not exist. So now get up, wake up, and love your sisters. Love. We are sisters. We are sisters.
Wow. Flesh love, everyone. Let's give her another round of applause. Sure. I think a very, very powerful message was just given to us today. The idea of working together as sisters and brothers in partnership is essential. I've been listening and reading to some of the quotes and words from Fridtjof Nansen, and one of the most profound words that I've heard him spoken or saying is, "I demolish my bridges behind me, then there is no choice but to move forward." Never truer word has been spoken, but the reality is it is so much easier to move forward together than on our own. And that's why partnerships are so important, and it's making a difference all around the world.
Sometimes the greatest good stems from the smallest acts. In a world spinning fast, our vision can blur. It becomes harder to see ourselves in the other. And we struggle to hold on to the common values that connect us. For the forcibly displaced and stateless people, this distancing carries a heavy cost. Every year we witness a record number of children, women and men forced to flee their homes. Resettlement spots for refugees are dwindling, while at home, peace remains out of reach. But in troubling times, there is resolve too. A plan to strengthen solidarity, led not only by states and institutions, but individuals reaching out to displaced and stateless persons and to communities that shelter them. The international community made a commitment with the Global Compact on Refugees last year to engage new partners, marshal new resources, and work towards lasting solutions. The regional winners of UNHCR's Nansen Refugee Award are already working to make those solutions a reality. For more than 15 years, Evariste, the regional winner for Africa, has promoted peace in the Democratic Republic of the Congo by providing refugees, returnees, and the host communities access to land so they can farm, earn a living, and rebuild their lives.
Katika kutetea haki zao na kuwarahisisha kuishi pamoja. Lakini lengo letu kubwa ni kuangalia namna gani tunaweza pandisha level ya power yao kiuchumi na katika kuishi pamoja.
What drives an individual to work for a better world?
My name is Alberto Cairo. I work for the International Committee of the Red Cross. With my team, we don't focus only on physical rehabilitation of disabled persons, but we try to give them back dignity.
In Afghanistan, Alberto and his team have treated more than 180,000 people living with disabilities, stepping in for a healthcare system that has been battered by decades of war. Many among them have been displaced from their villages or made refugees for a time. All of them are in some way victims of an enduring conflict. In her community in Jordan, Abir is known as the mother of all Syrians for her dedication to refugee families.
أنا متطوعة إلي 19 سنة. أنا بعمل بالعمل الإنساني. أنا بحب العمل مع اللاجئين وراح أضل أبحث على سبل لسد حاجاتهم وأبحث عن العائلات الأكثر حاجة حتى أساعدهم وأوصلهم لأول الطريق.
Extraordinary humanitarians like the Nansen regional winners work not only with those who are displaced, but others who are vulnerable at home too, in communities at risk of displacement.
Mi nombre es Bianca Rodríguez. Soy activista y defensora de derechos humanos de las personas LGTBI en El Salvador. Orgullosamente soy una mujer trans y mi lucha no es una lucha personal, sino la lucha compartida de las personas LGTBI por vivir libres de violencia y discriminación y que se garanticen nuestros derechos.
Communities like Bianca's, where LGBTI people are subject to daily threats, are also working to protect and provide for themselves. Across the globe, greater solidarity with the displaced is translating into new opportunities. Opportunities to work and study and become more self-reliant. Solidarity also means finding long-term solutions for those who cannot go home.
With the project of humanitarian corridors, we would like to show the fact that it's possible to arrive in Europe in a safe way, with a regular plane, like every other person traveling to Europe, and in a legal way, with a humanitarian visa in their hand.
The solidarity embodied by each of the 5 regional winners can help show us the way. But it is our mission too. We all must share in the challenge to push back against the politics of exclusion, build more inclusive societies, and allow more people to find their way home.
Sometimes the way to express the idea of common humanity is through a small voice of innocence. Nadine Lebaki's Oscar-nominated film Kapanan did exactly that. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great honor that I introduce to you Nadine Lebaki, who is here tonight to give us her thoughts on what it means to belong.
I am nothing. I am an insect. I feel invisible. Animals are treated better than me. I wish I was never born. These are the words of Firas, a stateless boy I met during my years of research for my film, Capernaum. Like many stateless children I met, when I asked him, "How old are you?" his answer was, "I'm not sure. I don't know, I must be maybe 12 or 13. So you don't know your exact date of birth?" No. My mother told me I was born during the winter, and it was snowing that day. It's almost always the same pattern. He doesn't know his exact age because, like all his siblings, his birth was never registered because of lack of money. Yes, in some countries, unfortunately, it costs money to register your children. When you think about it, this means that Firas never celebrated his birthday, the day he came into this world. So he says he might be 12 years old, but he actually looks like he's 7 because of malnutrition and abuse. He chews on dry noodles for lunch and dinner. He spends over 12 hours on the streets, leaving him with only a few hours of sleep at night. He cannot even write his own name. When children his own age were preparing to go to school, the school refused to enroll him because his birth was never registered. Nobody saved his 11-year-old sister from being sold off for early marriage. Because of her status, she was an easy prey. Firas now spends his days on the streets, selling tissues or delivering groceries or gas bottles to make a few dollars a day. Not one day passes without him being verbally or physically abused, exposed to the most vicious and dangerous people. What do you think are the prospects for his future? Firas will fall into the cracks of our systems and spend a life in the shadows. He will end up like a stranger in the very place where he was born and raised, becoming invisible even if in his own eyes. He would probably be exposed to exploitation, maybe even human trafficking. He might even have to turn to crime and theft simply to survive. Some of these children are born and die without anybody knowing they ever existed. A child is a blessing to most of us. But for a stateless child, his or her existence feels more like a curse. What does it actually mean to have no birth certificate, no ID, to not be a citizen of any country, to not belong, to be invisible. Today, millions of people around the world are stateless, a number that's associated with so much misery and pain. For most of them, simply living a normal life feels like an impossible dream. Chances are that schools will not enroll stateless children. Hospitals will likely refuse to treat stateless patients. Companies will not want to employ stateless people. Something as simple as opening a bank account is like climbing a mountain. Even getting married legally to the person you love can be impossible. All these are basic rights that most of us take for granted. How does a child, without any identity, any nationality, with this unbearable frustration and feeling of not belonging anywhere to any country, look at us, at the human beings who failed him or her? What does he or she think of us? According to Article 7 of the Convention on the Rights of the Child, each child shall be registered immediately after birth and shall have the right from birth to a name and the right to acquire a nationality. Every single child, regardless of who their parents are, where they were born, or in which circumstances. Since 196 countries, meaning almost every country in the world, have signed this convention, how come statelessness remains a reality for millions of children around the world today? Is this commitment just words, simply ink on paper for some people in power to sleep better at night? No child should be paying the price for our flawed decisions and laws and fall in the cracks of our chaotic systems. No existence should depend on a piece of paper. Stateless people may not exist on paper in our systems, but they are here, very much alive, flesh and blood, with stories, dreams, and so much to give. Let's not forget, it is words. Man-made laws that keep people in the shadows. It can be words and will that invite them back into our world. With the stroke of a pen, a stateless person can finally belong. All of you here in this room can change this reality. We owe it to them to make them matter. I know that statelessness has different forms and faces, but something as simple as abolishing birth registration fees or addressing gender inequality in nationality laws can solve this existential issue for so many broken lives across the world. We have no right anymore to adapt to such injustice. When will we wake up and acknowledge that this alienation and frustration are a fuel for violence, anger, and tension? It's not a matter of politics alone. This is a human tragedy. We can all influence decision makers to change the status quo. Today, I express my dream that no human being will be called stateless again. This year's Nansen laureate, Mr. Ashurov, embodies that same dream. I salute his effort and take this opportunity to also salute the efforts of my country, Lebanon, and its people. A small country who, despite its own struggles, is home today to over 1.5 million refugee, displaced, and stateless families. Thank you.
Nadine, thank you very, very much for those words. Such a pleasure listening to you, and keep up the incredible work that you're doing. It really is amazing. Okay, now, the big moment we've been waiting for. So we're here to celebrate a winner. We're here to celebrate an absolutely incredible individual that has achieved so much that I'm not even going to tell you about it, because it deserves somebody like our wonderful High Commissioner who is here with us to tell you about this incredible individual. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on stage Mr. Filippo Grandi to tell us a little bit more about Azizbek Ashurov, our winner for this year.
Good evening, and thank you for being here. And once again, thanks to all those who make this award and this evening possible. It's important. And we're here tonight to honor our 2019 Nansen laureate, Azizbek Ashurov. And Liane was kind enough to say that I would speak about him, but I think that he will speak about himself, and that is really what will strike your imagination and make you understand why he was selected for this prize. And a prize given in the name of the first High Commissioner for Refugees, somebody whose shoes all 11 or 12 High Commissioners following him were not able to fill, and somebody who embodies somehow an interesting combination of being an explorer, being a philanthropist, being a diplomat. I've always been fascinated by the figure of Fridtjof Nansen, and I think somehow Azizbek, whom we honor tonight, has some of those features. First of all, I want to say just a few things about him before letting a video speak and then himself speak, more importantly. But a few things. First of all, he's a lawyer. Now, everybody immediately thinks of many jokes when you say this. But you will, some of you will have read about him already. He is, and today somebody said it at the XCOM, he's a lawyer on horseback somehow. He was able to reach many people in his country, Kyrgyzstan, in this work to eliminate statelessness, to ensure that everybody had nationality. He was able to do it in many different ways, including riding horses to go to remote parts of his country. Somehow, he gives to the role of the lawyer a different dimension from the one a bit conventional that we always think of somebody in an office dealing with difficult problems. Somehow, I thought how many times I have heard my own organization, UNHCR, the organization I grew up in, being defined an organization of lawyers, a little bit with, I'm not a lawyer, by the way, but anyway, an organization of lawyers, a bit in an ironical way. And yet, I think that many of our colleagues, just like Azizbek, many of our colleagues who are lawyers, who have experience in law, carry out their work to ensure that those laws that they deal with protect people, protect their rights, give them identity, dignity, access to services, access to employment. This is what Azizbek, a lawyer, did, including on horseback. And I was also amazed reading about him. I only met him a few days ago, but listening to him, reading about him, I was amazed by the drive, the determination that allowed him to contribute to this extraordinary achievement. An achievement which, however, one should add, was not his alone. First of all, we recognize tonight not only Azizbek, but also an organization, a civil society organization, the Ferghana Valley Lawyers Without Borders organization that he started and he led, and that made possible this extraordinary project. And of course, Azizbek worked with many people, he'll tell us, in civil society in his country. And also his work was made possible by the space that was created by the government of his country, Kyrgyzstan. I am very happy tonight to also recognize among us the presence of the foreign minister of Kyrgyzstan, Kyrgyz Aydarbekhov. And I would like you to recognize him, please. Thank you very much, Minister Aydarbekhov, because I think that your presence here is important not only because of what you and your country have done, but also because you symbolize here such an important aspect of this work of eliminating statelessness, which is the political will of governments to create that space. It takes the drive and determination, the knowledge, the experience, the expertise of Azizbek, but it takes a space for all these skills, qualities, and determination to be able to be realized. And I want to also say that many of you might have met, or some of you might have met, stateless people. What strikes me most about statelessness, and today it was repeated very much in the EXCOM proceedings, is the invisibility that not having a citizenship, a nationality, gives to people. The fact that we cannot say how many stateless people there are in the world is because we cannot even count them. And somehow that was Nansen's great intuition, the intuition of the Nansen passport, that this document would give people that visibility that they so desperately need to have a life like everybody else. And therefore the work of our Nansen laureate, such an appropriate name, Nansen laureate for him, that work really has transformed many lives. 13,000 people in Kyrgyzstan who obtained nationality. Kyrgyzstan, the first country that can pride itself of saying that they have abolished, they have eliminated all known cases of statelessness in the country. And this transformation is particularly important in the case of these very marginalized people. But more than that, even more than that, I think the work of this lawyer on horseback has been a work of preventing further statelessness to occur. That is very, very important. Remember, I said it today at the EXCOM, there are two conventions on statelessness. One aimed at protecting those that have no nationality, the other one at promoting the elimination of statelessness, largely through work on laws and provisions and measures and legal measures that are taken in a country. So preventing statelessness is as important as ensuring that people who are stateless get a nationality and are not discriminated and marginalized. So, Azizbek, before we hear you speak, which is what everybody is waiting for tonight, I would like to say that we recognize you as the Nansen laureate because you have been such an exemplary champion for an important cause that is not very well known. And it is important to talk about it. And I think that the message that your example sends to all of us is that all of us here in governments, in civil society, in the business community, wherever we contribute to society, we can all be champions of this worthy fight against the lack of citizenship and nationality. Thank you very much. We will now watch a video on our Nansen laureate before asking him to come on the floor, to the stage. So let's watch the video first.
Несмотря на то, что где они живут, в горах, в низменности, мы идем к людям без гражданства в Кыргызстане. а когда находим, стараемся делать все возможное, чтобы им помочь. Я Азизбек Ашуров, я юрист в организации «Юристы Ферганской долины без границ». По своей природе я не могу терпеть несправедливость. Без гражданства – это несправедливость. И я, если могу помочь в решении этой проблемы, я не могу стоять в стороне. Лица без гражданства – это непризнанные лица, люди-фантомы. Они физически есть, но нигде по документам, нигде в официальной статистике. Для государства практически их нет. Без документов, подтверждающих гражданство, невозможно найти работу и устроиться на работу. Дать достойное образование своим детям, получить медицинскую помощь. В Кыргызстане, как и в большинстве постсоветских стран, основными категориями лиц без гражданства являются граждане бывшего Советского Союза, которые до сих пор не определили свое гражданство в силу различных причин. Кто-то пропустил момент, когда надо было определить свое гражданство и не знал об этом. И до сих пор либо на руках держит советский паспорт, либо его потерял и не получил новый.
Мен мынаны алам, азыр барып туруп, ксерокопиядан алып, регистрация кылып, эч качан паспорт албадым.
Наша роль в сокращении без гражданства – это помочь людям в том, в чем они сами не могут. Мы не даем им гражданство, а вот мы возвращаем им то, что должно было принадлежать им по рождению. Это Азиза, ей 22 года. Ее рождение никогда не было зарегистрировано до того, как она к нам обратилась. Причиной тому было, что у родителей были проблемы с гражданством.
Biz keldik. Mana qizingizga dokument oldik. Ko'rishmish kuni
Endi bu dokument men uchun qog'oz emas-da bu. Bu bizde yüzümüzde endi mana shu bar biz bar da bu bo'lmasa biz hech kim emas. Qizim ham hech kim emas. Endi dokument bor, bu ham endi odam da endi уже гражданство Qirg'izistonda.
Biz ham har kuni ayollarda qolib ko'tarmaylik deymiz. Yaxshi ishlarga boraylik, bolalarimizni o'qitaylik. Shu Azizbek akamga ham rahmat, yuristlarga ham rahmat. Shular bilan oldik pasportimiz, metrkamizni. Hammalarga rahmat, ayanchli rahmat aytaman.
Из-за таких моментов мы и работаем. Хотя это занимает очень много времени. Для таких сегодняшних моментов и мы и работаем. И вот это дает дополнительную мотивацию, дополнительный заряд. Лучше для, мне кажется, просто не то, что для юриста, но и для человека важно. И следующей целью, следующим вызовом для нас является делиться нашим опытом по сокращению без гражданства с нашими соседними странами. Я считаю, что людей без гражданства не должно быть в мире. Это не укладывается в моей голове, но они существуют, и это реальность. Мы с этим должны бороться, так как они люди. И все другие формальности, это все должно быть ради человека.
So here you are. So I cannot think of a better way to to mark the midpoint of our I Belong campaign than to recognize a man who has allowed so many people to say, I belong. Azizbek Ashurov.
Саламатсыздар ба? Биринчиден бардыңыздарга Кыргызстандан ысык салам. Ушул бийик сыйлыкты мен өлкөмдүн сыйлыгы деп кабыл алганга өтө сыйынтып турам. It was greetings from my own language. Let me continue in English. Dear ladies and gentlemen, it's really hard for me to describe how proud I am right now, and hard to describe the great responsibility I feel. The prestige of this award is much greater than my own small contribution to the worldwide battle against statelessness. And one of the first people who joined to this fight was the great man who gave his name to this award, Fridtjof Nansen. As it happens, one of the highest mountains in my country is the Nansen Peak, which rises nearly 6,000 meters above the sea. Now, Kyrgyzstan also has the Nansen Award. Actually, this new Nansen Peak is built up from the more than 13,000 individual awards, in the form of every person who was stateless before, but whose life changed for the better. If we could improve just one life, if we could make a real difference to just one person, then all time and resources we spent are worth it. For all these reasons, for me, this award is so much more than just a prize. First of all, this award belongs to everyone who dedicated themselves to protecting stateless people. It recognized the collective efforts of my organization, my colleagues in Ferghana Valley Lawyers Without Borders, as well as our partners in Kyrgyzstan, Legal Clinic, Adilet, WESA, but it also recognizes the great work of our government,
kindly represented here by the head of Kyrgyz delegation, our foreign minister, Mr. Chingiz Aydarbekov. And I'm also happy to see here our head of state registration service, Mr. Almaz Mambetov, and whose very dedicated staff, together with us, achieved this kind of goal. They all have gone far beyond the call of duty. In case after case, they have guided stateless people through the long legal process. And in the end, we reached the long-awaited goal together: citizenship for everyone. So most importantly, this award goes to the country to which I proudly belong, a small, mountainous country deep in Central Asia called Kyrgyzstan. My young, independent nation is facing many challenges, but it still found the political will to end statelessness. Finally, the fact that the Nansen Award this year focuses on statelessness is very significant. It rewards all those people and organizations as European Network on Statelessness, our partners in Redana, Institution for Statelessness Inclusion, and others in many countries who put so much efforts into solving one of the pressing problems in our time. This year's Nansen Award also shows to the stateless people all over the world that their voices are heard. For them, this award is a symbol of hope. This day is also important for every person who passed the whole difficult way to the end, who never lost hope to be recognized as a citizen. I believe that tonight will give us new energy and confidence that what we do is so vital. I strongly believe that it's wrong to call what we do helping people to gain citizenship. It should be called our duty as human beings to give back to people what should belong to them at birth, but was denied simply because they were in the wrong place at wrong time. Now I want to express my hope that Kyrgyzstan will be a shining example to others. With enough political will and strong partnership with the civil society and the international organization, together we can reach our goal. We can end statelessness and realize our global plan of action. It is possible. Let me finish by quoting the words of a great man by the name of Fridtjof Nansen, who once said, "The difficult takes a little time. The impossible takes a little longer."
What a beautiful, beautiful moment. Congratulations once again. You deserve it. This is a moment to be very, very proud of. And I hope that so many other people follow in this example. Let's please give him one more fun round of applause. Before we welcome our final act on stage, which is really going to be a great treat for every single one of us, I'd like to say a final word about the journey to acceptance and belonging. Millions of people around the world are still waiting to start that journey, and others, a much smaller number, are on their way. But tonight, what an honor to have in the audience with us this evening some individuals who have just completed this journey to say, I belong. And I would like to introduce them to you tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Arisara Maya Arti of Thailand. And from Brazil, Maha Mamo. Congratulations. And finally, from Kenya, Thomas Bwamku Nguli. Thomas. Congratulations to every single one of you. There is no better feeling than to say, I belong. I belong somewhere. All of us belong somewhere. All of us deserve a place on this planet, and that is why statelessness has to be on the top of the agenda. I belong. What a privilege, and I am so happy for every single one of you. It is an amazing achievement from the countries that have done this for you, and well done for persevering. Ladies and gentlemen, inside your program that I'm sure all of you have got now, you'll find a special postcard. And on this postcard, you're going to find a quotation, a beautiful quotation. It is heart-wrenching, it is moving. Unfortunately, it is also quite sad because it's written by a stateless individual. And a lot of times, the photographs that are actually on this postcard have also been taken by stateless youngsters. I urge you to read these quotes. I urge you to take them to heart and to understand what it is like to be stateless and do what you can in your respective ways to change this narrative. Outside in our reception area, we also aim to engage you further on this journey. And you'll see that there is a display outside, and it's kind of going to take you through the notion and through the idea of what it is like to be stateless. Please take that journey around the room and understand it, feel it. You know as well as I know that you'll never understand something until you walk in another person's shoes that is going through something. So there's a small display outside for you to understand and experience that. And the reality is there are so many people out there who cannot say, I belong. I want to welcome our final and special guest on stage that's going to perform for us. He is a singer, he is a songwriter, whose music is going to complete this journey of ours. And this journey is going to take us back to his home country and someone he left behind in this country. The song expresses what so many families are living through on a daily basis. If you take a look at this man's song that he's going to perform for us tonight, it has been viewed on YouTube by 1.3 billion people. This shows you that there are a lot of people in this world that know the pain of leaving someone special behind. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on stage the one and only Danny Ocean.
Good evening. Buenas noches. That's how we say it in Spanish. First of all, thank you, Liam, for the presentation. And congratulations, Azizbek, for the award. I never thought music was going to bring us to a night like this, so I just want to tell you a little bit of the story of the song. I wrote the song 3 years ago in 2016. I had to leave somebody when I when I left my home country, Venezuela. So this song represents all those young people that ran away from Venezuela by necessity and not by choice. So I hope you enjoy it. Dime cómo le explico a mi destino que ya no estás ahí. Dime cómo haré para desprenderme de este frenesí. Esta locura que siento por ti, con esta química que haces en mí. Y ya no puedo, girl, ya no puedo, girl. Nena, discúlpame si te ilusioné, yo no lo quise hacer. Sé que en el amor cuando es real se vuelve. Pero cómo olvidar tu piel y cómo olvidarte, mujer. Ya no puedo, girl, ya no puedo, girl, baby, no. Me rehúso a darte un último beso, así que guárdalo, para que la próxima vez te lo dé haciéndolo, haciéndotelo así, 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 así como te gusta, baby. Y sin mirar atrás, sin buscar a nadie más, solo quiero estar contigo. Si no te tengo aquí conmigo, yo no quiero ser tu amigo, porque tú eres mi camino. Y yo solo quiero estar junto a ti, nena, por favor, enténdelo. Solo dame tu mano y confía en mí. Si te pierdes, solo sigue mi voz y dale tiempo, baby, al tiempo que tú, que yo estamos hechos para estar los dos. Y dale tiempo, baby, al tiempo que tú y yo estamos hechos para estar los dos. Y baby, no, me rehuso a darte un último beso, así que guárdalo, para que la próxima vez te lo dé haciéndolo, haciéndotelo así, 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 así como te gusta, baby, baby, no. Me rehuso a darte un último beso, así que guárdalo, para que la próxima vez te lo dé haciéndolo, haciéndotelo así, así, así como te gusta, baby, así como te gusta, baby. Me rehuso a darte un último beso, ay. Oh, no. Y baby, no. Me rehuso a darte un último beso, así que guárdalo, para que la próxima vez te lo dé haciéndolo, ay, haciéndotelo así, así, así como te gusta, baby. Thank you very much. Good night.
Danny Ocean, there you go, 1.3 billion views, amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, this has truly been one of the most humbling experiences for me, just to be here, to be on this extraordinary stage, to celebrate beautiful individuals. And the most beautiful individual in the room tonight goes to Mr. Ashurov. You are amazing. And thank you for what you have done for this world. Thank you. Let's give him one final round of applause. This is where we also need to thank the city and the Canton of Geneva for everything that you have done for the UNHCR. In fact, I have to tell you, when you go outside this evening, and I know I've been past the fountain a couple of times, but Le Jet d'eau is blue in honor of UNHCR. So to the city, thank you. Thank you for believing in the cause. To our Swiss and Norwegian partners, without you, this would not be possible. And again, we thank you so much for your support that you give to these winners of the Nansen Refugee Award. Thank you again for your generosity. the IKEA Foundation. You are also absolutely incredible, and your contribution is invaluable. And we thank you so much for what you offer the Nansen Refugee Award Project. And finally, a big thank you to Hospice General of Geneva, who have found us an incredible refugee chef this evening from Syria, Jenan Hamza, who has created a delicious menu for us to enjoy at the cocktail reception. Enjoy. Thank you so much for being here, and have a wonderful evening. Good night.